Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math.
I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're learning about divisibility and factors. $60 by 2. So is 60 divisible by 2? Well, every even number is divisible by 2. So the quick answer is yes. But let's show it. 2 goes into 60. Does it go in evenly? 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract, we got 0. Bring down this 0. 2 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract them, we end with 0. It goes in evenly, meaning 2 goes into 60 evenly, so 60 is divisible by 2. So, yes. 49 by 6. So does 6 go evenly into 49, okay? Well, the answer is no. Okay? No, because we have an odd number and an even number cannot go into an odd number. So we can see that with long division here. 6 goes into 49. Well, does it go in evenly? What's going on here? Okay? Well, we know that 6, well, what number does 6 go into 40 something close, right? So 7 is 42. Okay, and 8 would be 48, right? So if we have 8 here, 6 times 8 is 48. We have one remainder, and that shows with that remainder here, that does not go in evenly. So 6 does not go into 49, and so no is our final answer. 92 by 10. Well, first thing, I can see this easily and say no. Okay, and the reason is 92 does not, this number, first one, doesn't end in a 0, right? All numbers that end in 0 are divisible by 10, okay? So that's a quick answer, no. If we did long division, we can double check that. 10 into 92, well, 10 goes into 90 9 times, we're close, but we're left with a remainder of 2. Since we have a remainder, we know 10 does not go in evenly to 92. And so, again, final answer is no. 72 by 6. Well, first thing I check here is, does 6 go into 72 evenly? So we do some long division here. 6 goes into 7 one time, and 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract the 2. 7 minus 6, 1. Bring down the 2. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6, 12. We subtract, and we get a 0. Since we end with 0, it goes in evenly, right? So 6 goes into 72 12 times. It goes in evenly, so yes is our final answer. 72 is divisible by 6. 66 by 3. So is 66 divisible by 3? Well, let's try that with long division. Does 3 go into 66? All right? Well, first, 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract the 2, get a 0. Bring down this 6. Does 3 go into 6 again? Yes, 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract the 2, 6 minus 6 is 0. So now we have a remainder of 0, which shows that 3 goes into 66 evenly 22 times. So our answer here is just yes. 72 by 3. So is 72 divisible by 3? Well, let's go check that with long division. Does 3 go into 72 evenly? 3 goes into 7 2 times, because 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract the 2. 7 minus 6, 1. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract the 2, and we end with a remainder that is 0. Because we have a remainder that is 0, we know 3 goes into 72 evenly 24 times. So our answer here is yes. 684 by 9. All right, is 684 divisible by 9? Okay, well, first step I see, okay, does 9 go into 684 evenly? So 9 goes into 684, okay? So does 9 go into 684, okay? Well, 9 goes into 63 7 times, right? 7 times 9, 63. Then we subtract the 2. 68 minus 63 is a 5, and we bring down the 4. Now, does 9 go into 54? Well, 9 goes into 54 6 times. 6 times 9 is 54. We subtract the 2. 54 minus 54 is 0. We got a remainder of 0. That means 9 went into 684 evenly, 76 times. So our final answer is just yes. 684 is divisible by 9. 555 by 3. So it's 555 divisible by 3. Well, to check that, let's do long division. 3 into 555. Okay? So does 3 go into 555? Well, 3 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, we get a 2. Bring down the 5. Does 3 go into 25 evenly? Well, 3 goes into 24, right? 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract the 2, we get a 1. Bring down this 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times, because 5 times 3 is 15. And now we end with a remainder of 0. That's the key. End with a remainder of 0. Then 3 goes into 555 evenly. So, yes. Final answer is a yes. 608 by 2. Well, first thing I see, first number is even. That means it's always divisible by 2. So quick answer is yes. Now, to verify this, all right, just to double check, let's do long division. 2 into 608. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract 2, got a 0. Bring down a 0. Can 2 go into 0? No. 0. 0 times 2, 0. Subtract them, 0, right? Bring down the 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract 2, 0. Confirms we have a remainder that is 0. That says 608 is divisible by 2. 767 by 9. Well, the way I want to check this, okay, is to see, does 9 go into 767 evenly? So 9, long division, into 767, okay? Well, 9 doesn't go into 7, but 9 can go somewhere near 76. That's going to be 8 times, because 8 times 9 is 72. Subtract the two numbers. 76 minus 72 is 4. Bring down the 7. Does 9 go into 47 evenly? Well, no, but 5 is close. 5 times 9 is 45. Subtract the 2, and we get 2 left over. We have a remainder here that is not 0. It's a remainder of 2. That tells us that 9 does not go into 767 evenly, so our answer is no. 708 by 6. Is 708 divisible by 6? Okay? Well, the first thing here, I just do long division. 6 into 708, and a better looking 7. There we go. Okay? So, let's see what happens. 6 goes into 7 1 times. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract the 2. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down the 0. Does 6 go into, bring down 0, yeah. 6 go into 10? Well, 1 time again. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract the 2, and we get a 4. Bring down the 8. Now, does 6 go into 48 evenly? And that is a yes, 8 times. 8 times 6, 48. Subtract the 2, and we get a 0. See, here now we have a remainder of 0, which tells us that, yes, 708 is divisible by 6. 780 by 10. Is 780 divisible by 10? First clue is ending in 0. Since 780 ends in a 0, it is divisible by 10. So quick answer is yes. But how else can we show this? Well, let's look at long division. Does 10 go into 780 evenly? 10 go into 7? No, but 10 goes into 78, right? Or 70, 7 times. 7 times 10, 70, subtract the 2, we get an 8. Bring down the 0. Now, does 10 go into 80 evenly? Yeah, 8 times. 8 times 10, 80. Subtract the 2 there, we get a 0. And that remainder of 0 tells us that, yes, 10 goes into 780 evenly, so yes. $319. Okay, 319. Well, first thing, this number is odd. So that means all the even numbers are out. Okay? So then we also can quickly check, does it end in a 0 or a 5? Well, since it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5, 5 is also out. Okay? So now let's start with, we have most of them checked off, just 3 and 9 now. So let's do some long division to see. Does 3 work into 319? Okay? Well, 3 goes into 3 one time, starting good. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, 0. Bring down the 1, 1. Does 3 go into 1? No. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract the 2. Oh, not. Get ahead of myself. Not 0, but 1. Excuse me. Okay. And a 1 there. Bring down the 9. Does 3 go into 19? Well, no, not evenly. 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract the 2, and we get a 1. Since we have a remainder of 1 right there, 3 does not go in evenly to 319. So we have an X there for 3. Now, another trick here, since 3 didn't work, 9 would not work because 3 goes into 9, right? So 9 doesn't work as well. So across the board, none of these are divisible. Our 319 is not divisible by any one of these numbers. 411. Well, first thing here is 411 is odd, which means all of our even numbers are out. Then, we know it does not end in a 0 or a 5, so 5 is also out. So now let's check the 3. Does 3 go into 411? So 3 into 411. Well, 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the 1. Does 3 go into 11? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract the 2, and we get a 2. Bring down the last 1. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract the 2, we got a 0. Okay? Remainder of 0 tells us that, yes, 3 goes into 411 evenly, right? So if 3 goes in evenly, we got to check and see if 9 does as well, okay? So does 9 go into 411? Well, 9 goes into 41. Well, not evenly, right? But 9 goes into, well, 36, right? 9 goes into 36 4 times. 4 times 9, 36. Subtract the 2, and we get a 5, okay? Bring down the 1, okay? Well, if 9 goes into 36 4 times, 9 goes into 45 5 times, right? 5 times 9 is 45. Subtract the 2, and we're left with a 6 as a remainder. Since we have a remainder of 6 here, okay, that means 9 does not go into 411 evenly, okay? So our only answer here is just 3. 455. First thing, this is an odd number. 2, 6, and 10 are out. Even numbers cannot go into an odd. All right. Now we know this number ends in a 5 or a 0. So 5 goes into it. So we're good with 5. 5 goes into 455. Okay. So now we just have 3 and 9 to check. Long division with 3. 3 goes into 455. Okay. Well, 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract them. Got a 1. Bring down the 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 3, 15. Subtract the 2. Got a 0. Bring down this 5. 3 goes into 5. Well, 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, and we get a 2 for a remainder. Since we have a value for our remainder, that tells us that 3 does not go in evenly. And since 3 does not go in evenly, since 3 goes into 9, 9 cannot go in evenly as well. So our only answer here of all the numbers provided is just good old 5. 414. Well, first thing here, this number is even. Therefore, 2 must go into it. Okay? Now let's check 3. Does 3 go into 414? Okay? Well, 3 goes into 4 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, and we get a 1. Bring down this 1. 3 goes into 11 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract the 2, and we get a 2. Bring down the 4. 3 goes into 24 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract the 2, we get a 0. So again here, 3 goes into 414 evenly of 138 times. Okay, 138 times. So since that is the case, the remainder of 0, 3 goes in as well. Well, here we go. Since 2 and 3 both go into our number, 6 has to as well. All right? Our number does not end in a 5 or a 0, so 5 is out. 10, it cannot be 10 because it doesn't end in a 0, so 10 is out. So the last number I need to check is 9. Well, 9 here, does 9 go into 414? Well, 9 goes into 41 4 times, because 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract the 2, and we get a 5. Bring down the 4. Does 9 go into 54 evenly? And that's going to be a yes, 6 times. 6 times 9 is 54. Subtract the 2, we get a 0. Remainder of 0 here tells us 9 goes in evenly. So yes, so we have 4 numbers now that work. Our numbers are 2, 3, 6, and 9, and all of them go into 414 evenly. 382. Well, right off the bat, 2 works. It's divisible by 2 because this number is even. Always going to be. Next step, 3. Is it divisible by 3? Well, let's check with long division. 3 into 382. 3 goes into 3 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Great. Subtract it, got a 0. Bring down the 8. 3 goes into 8. Well, that's going to be 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract the 2, and we get a 2. Bring down this 2. Does 3 go into 22? Well, 3 times 7 is 21. Subtract it, we get a 1. Since we have a remainder of 1, 3 does not go in evenly. So there's a no for 3 there. Okay? So 3 doesn't work. 5. The number doesn't end in a 0 or a 5, so 5 is out. Since 6 requires 2 and 3 to both be divisible, or 382 divisible by 2 and 3, 6 is out because both of those don't happen. 9 has to have 3 as well. Since 3 does not happen, 9 won't happen. 10, does our number end in a 0? No, it doesn't. So 10 does not go into 382. So our final answer is just the number 2. 256. Well, first thing here, that number is even, so 2 works. Always, if it's even, 2 is going to work. Now let's try 3. Does 3 go into 256? Long division. 3 goes into 2, none, but 3 goes into 25. We're looking at 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract the 2, get a 1. Bring down the 6. 3 goes into 16, 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract the 2, we got a 1. Since we have a remainder of 1 here, 3 does not go in evenly. So 3 is out. Okay? 5. This number ends in a 0, or doesn't end in a 0 or 5. Since it ends in a 6, 5 is out. Both 2 and 3 do not go into 256, so 6 must be out. Since 3 does not go into 256, 9 cannot go into 256, so 9 is out. 10, the number does not end in a 0, so 10 is out. So our only divisor here is just 2. 492. All right? Well, first thing, this is an even number, so 2 works. 2 goes into it. Always going to be like that. Now let's try 3. 3 goes into 492. Okay? Well, 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, got a 1. Bring down the 9. 3 goes into 19. Okay? 3 goes into 19. That's me drawing a blank here. That's going to be 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract the 2, got a 1. Bring down this 2. 3 goes into 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract the 2, we got a 0. So since we end with a remainder of 0, 3 works. We are good. Okay, so 3 goes in evenly. Fantastic. Okay, 5. The number does not end in a 5 or 0, so 5 is out. Since 2 and 3 both work, 6 must also work as well. Now we got to check 9. Does 9 go into it? All right. So if 9 goes into 492. Well, 9 times 5 is 45. Subtract it. We have a remainder of 4. Okay. Or not remainder of 4, but it's a 4 left over. Bring down the 2. 9 goes into 42. Not evenly. 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract the 2, we get 6 left over. Since we have a remainder here, 9 will not work. This number, 492, does not end in a 0, so 10 is out. So our only answers here are 2, 3, and 6. Our number here is 410. Okay? First thing, that number is even, so 2 goes into it. Very easy. Now let's check 3. Long division. Does 3 go into 4? 10. Well, 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down this 1. 3 go into 11. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract the 2. 11 minus 9 is 2. Bring down the 0. Does 3 go into 20 evenly? And that's no. 6 times gives me 18, and we have a remainder of 2 here. Since we have a remainder of 2, 3 does not work. Okay? Let's check 5. Our number here ends in a 0 or a 5, so 5 works. 6 does not work because 2 and 3 both don't go into 410, so 6 is out. Since 3 does not go into 410, 9 is also out. 10. Well, we end in a 0 here, right? So 10 must go evenly into 410. And so our final answer are just 3 numbers, 2, 5, and 10, right there. 297. First thing, this number is an odd number. All my even numbers are out. Okay? So now let's go check 3. Does 3 go into 297? Well, 3 does not go into 2 evenly, but it can go into, or at all, but 3 can go into 29. Okay? So 3 goes into 29. Well, that's going to be 9 times, right? 9 times 3 is 27. Subtract the 2, we get a 2. Bring down this 7. 3 goes into 27, 9 times as well, right? 9 times 3 is 27, and we get a 0. Since we have a remainder that is 0 here, remainder of 0, 3 works, okay? Now we check 5. We do not end in a number 5 or 0, so 5 is out. All right, we already got it done with 6, right? 9. Well, since 3 goes into 297, 9 must also go into 297. 9 is good. We already determined 10 was out, so our final answer here is just 3 and 9. 425. Okay? Well, first thing, this number is an odd number, so my even numbers are all out. Okay? So now I need to check 3 next. Long division. Does 3 go evenly into 425? 3 goes into 4, 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, get a 1. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 12 evenly, looking good. 4 times 3 is 12, got a 0. Bring down the 5. Does 3 go into 5? Well, 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2, and we get a 2. We got a remainder of 2. That tells me that we cannot go in evenly here, so 3, unfortunately, does not work. Now, 425 ends in a 5, and which works for 5, right? If it's a 5 or a 0, 5 works. We're good. Already determined 6 was out. Since 3 doesn't work, 9 must not also work. So 9 is out. Already found 10 doesn't work, so our answer here is just 5. 5 is the only number here given that goes into 425. 9,942. Well, first thing's easy. This number is an even number, so 2 must work. Now we have to try 3. Well, 3, we got to use some long division here. 9, 9, 4, 2. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract it. Good. Get a 0. Bring down this 9. 3 goes into 9 again. 3 times. 3 times 3, 9. Subtract it. Got a 0. Great. Bring down the 4. 3 goes into 4 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract the 2. Get a 1. Bring down the 2. Okay? 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Got a 0. Fantastic. Remainder of 0 tells us that 3 goes into 9942. 9,942. Great. Okay. 5. Our end number is not a 0 or a 5, so 5 is out. Since 2 and 3 both went into our number, 6 must also. Now we have to check 9. Does 9 go into 9,942? Well, let's do long division to see. 9 goes into 9 1 time. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract it, get a 0. Bring down this 9. 9 again goes into 9 1 time. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract it, 0. Bring down the 4. 9 goes into 4. Nope, 0. 0 times 9 is 0. We got a 4 here. Bring down the 2. Does 9 go into 42? And the answer is, unfortunately, no, right? Because 9 can't go into evenly, but 9 goes close to it, right, with 36. So 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract the 2, and we have 6 remaining. Since we have a remainder, that tells us 9 does not go in evenly. 9,942 does not go to end in a 0, so 10 is out. So our only options are 2, 3, and 6. And there we have our final answer. It's 8,938. All right? First thing, 2 goes into it because this number is even. So 2 works. Okay? Now let's try 3 with long division. So 3 goes into 8, 9, 3, 8. 3 goes into 8. Well, that's 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract the 2. Got a 2. Bring down the 9. All right? 3 goes into 29. Well, not evenly, but it's going to go in 9 times 27, right? 9 times 3 is 27. Subtract the 2. Whoops, that's subtraction. Right there, subtraction. And we get a 2. Bring down the 3. 3 goes into 23. Well, 7's close. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract the 2, get a 2. Bring down the 8. 3 goes into 28. Well, not evenly, but 9 times gives us 27. Subtract the 2, we get a 1. Since we have a remainder of 1, that tells us that 3 does not work. All right? 5. Our end number is an 8. That is not 0 or a 5. 5 is out. Since 2 and 3 both don't go into 8,938, 6 is out. Since 3 does not go into 8,938, 9 is out. Since our last digit here is not a 0, 10 is out. So our only number that goes into 8,938 is 2. 7,613. Well, first thing I notice is that this number is odd. That means all of my even numbers here will not work. Okay? So now we gotta check the 3. long division with 3. Does 3 go into 7, 6, 1, 3 evenly? 3 goes into 7 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract them, and we get a 1. Bring down the 6. 3 into 16. Well, 3 goes into 16. That's going to be 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract the 2, we get a 1. Bring down this 1. 3 goes into 11. 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract it, get a 2. Bring down this 3. 3 goes into 23. Well, 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. And we have a remainder of 2. Since we have a remainder of 2, okay, 3 does not go in evenly. All right? Now, this number ends in a 3, which is not 0 or 5, and so 5 is out. Since 3 did not go in evenly, 9 must be out, and so here we have none. None of these numbers will work, or they go into 7,613. So we have none here. 7,849. First thing I see here is this number is an odd number, so my evens will not work. All right? So now let's check the other numbers. Well, 3. Let's go do some long division. Does 3 go into that? 7,849 evenly. Well, 3 goes into 7 2 times, because 2 times 3 is a 6. Subtract the 2, and we get a 1. Bring down this 8. Ooh, we're getting close now. Does 3 go into 18? Well, yeah, 6 times, right? 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract it, get a 0. Bring down the 4. 3 go into 4. Well, 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Fantastic. 1 left over. Bring down the 9. Does 3 go into 19? And not evenly, but 6. 6 times 3 is 18. And we're left with the remainder of 1. Since we have a remainder of 1, 3 does not go in evenly into 7,849. All right, 5. Does this number end in a 5 or a 0? Nope, it doesn't. It ends in a 9. 5 is out. Already showed that 6 doesn't work. What about 9? Well, if 3 doesn't go into it, 9 cannot go into it. So 9 is out. We already showed 10 doesn't work. So our final answer is really none. None of these numbers go in evenly into 7,849.
Math, Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math, Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.